Have you ever had that strange feeling of living a moment and suddenly thinking, "I've seen this before," or closing your eyes and imagining something so vividly that it felt real? Perhaps, without realizing it, you were activating the same mechanism Neville Goddard taught as the key to creating reality. Neville, one of the great manifestation teachers of the 20th century, believed that imagination was not just a mental exercise, but the very act of creation itself. To him, everything that exists in the physical world was first born in the invisible world of the mind. And the most powerful way to shape this invisible world is to enter what he called the final state, mentally living the end result of your desire, as if it were already part of your life. This means not worrying about the how or the when. It's jumping straight to the end of the story and feeling what it's like to already be there. If your dream is to live by the sea, you don't imagine house hunting, signing contracts, or moving boxes. You already see yourself waking up to the sound of waves, feeling the breeze drifting through the window, sipping coffee as sunlight dances over the water. It's living the finished reality. Neuroscience helps explain why this works. When you create a mental experience rich in sensory and emotional detail, your brain activates the same areas it would if the experience were actually happening. It's as if you're rehearsing the future. This process strengthens synaptic connections, a phenomenon called neuroplasticity, and begins to shape your reticular activating system, the part of the brain that filters information and decides what you pay attention to. Over time, this filter starts to prioritize everything that confirms and supports that final scene you repeatedly envision. As a result, opportunities, people, and signs that once went unnoticed begin to appear before you. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because your perception adjusted to see what was already there. High-performance athletes use this all the time. An Olympic skier, for example, before competing, spends hours with eyes closed, visualizing each turn and jump until brain scans show almost the same activity as when actually on the slopes. If it works to train the body, it can also train your life. Neville said the most powerful moment to enter the final state is right before falling asleep. At this time, your brain is in alpha and theta states, and the subconscious is more receptive. By drifting off while mentally living the final scene, you plant that information directly into the deepest levels of your mind, like a seed in fertile soil. But here's a crucial detail. It's not enough to imagine. You must feel. Emotion is what gives life to the scene. It turns visualization into something the body recognizes as real. Without emotion, the image is superficial. With emotion, it becomes a somatic record. The body starts responding as if it were already true. You can try this tonight. Before bed, choose a specific desire. Build a short scene that represents the finished result. Engage all senses. See the colors, feel the textures, hear the sounds, notice the scents. And most importantly, feel the joy, gratitude, and certainty that it's already yours. Hold that feeling until you fall asleep. Quantum physics, especially discussions on the observer effect, suggest that reality is not fixed until it is collapsed by consciousness. When you live in the final state, you are already observing and strengthening a specific line of reality. This begins to influence what you attract and how you respond. With consistent practice, something curious happens. Coincidences multiply, doors open, the right people appear. And when the result manifests, it feels like you've lived it before. Because, in truth, you already have in your mind. Few realize this technique also changes you physically. By living in the final state, you trigger hormones and neurotransmitters aligned with the emotion of your desire fulfilled. Dopamine, linked to motivation and reward, and serotonin, tied to well-being, begin to circulate more. This creates an internal cycle. You feel better, act with more confidence, and naturally move toward the result you've been visualizing. Neville believed imagination is more powerful than willpower. Willpower struggles against the current reality. Imagination creates a new one. When you insist on forcing something, you generate tension and resistance. But when you immerse yourself in imagination, the mind more easily accepts the new image as true. This resembles what psychology calls imaginal acceptance, used in behavioral change therapies. The final state isn't about self-deception or denial. It's about aligning your mind with a desired direction while continuing to take real-world action. It's the fusion of vision and action. You imagine to create the map and act to walk the path. A powerful exercise is to create triggers in your daily life to quickly return to the final state. It could be an object that symbolizes your desire, a stone, a piece of jewelry, or even your phone wallpaper. And every time you look at it, mentally reconnect with the final scene. This keeps the emotion alive throughout the day. In spirituality, many traditions describe something similar. In Buddhism, there's the idea of living as if already enlightened. In Christianity, there's the concept of calling those things which are not as though they were. This shows the practice is not unique to Neville, but a universal principle present in various cultures. Science also points out that the brain is a future simulator. Research shows we spend up to 47% of our time imagining scenarios that haven't happened yet. The difference is that we usually do this randomly or negatively. The final state channels this natural capacity toward creating realities we want, not ones we fear. And most importantly, this technique doesn't require perfection, only consistency. Some nights you'll get distracted or fall asleep too quickly. Other nights you'll feel the scene deeply. What matters is building the habit, because repetition is what shapes both the brain and the energy you emit. In the end, the final state is more than a technique. It's a daily training of who you choose to be until, inevitably, that identity translates into your reality. And when it does, you'll realize that the greatest transformation wasn't what you attracted, but who you became in the process. If this content resonated with you, if any part sparked an inner click, I invite you to continue this journey with me. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future content on the law of attraction, neuroscience, spirituality, and quantum physics. Every video here is designed to expand your awareness and help you create the life you desire. Remember, the power lies in how you choose to live inside your mind. Your imagination is the rehearsal for your new reality. So starting today, begin to inhabit the final state of your dreams, because the future you want already exists, and it's waiting for you.